Remember, guys, we're in chapter 3 here of this book. It's called The Bible and World History. We're putting Scripture into a global context. Okay, you can easily go buy this book. It's a really cool read too. A lot of pictures. I like the pictures. I'm more of a picture learning kind of guy. So I'm just gonna quickly go through this here. So this book talks about 3 different historical perspectives. There's the sacred history, which is everything in the Bible. Secular history, which, everything that's not in the Bible, okay? Sacred is more specific. Secular is more broad. And redemptive history is everything that's leading towards God's plan, right? Of Jesus coming back. All right. And everything, it's a work, oh, cool. And in these 3 perspectives, weave in and out of each other, right? They'll cross, sometimes they don't, right? But everything is going towards that path there, right? Towards redemptive history, okay? Oop, I'm going the wrong way. All right, I'm trying out my new clicker today too, so I have a little roller mouse. If you see, I can move the mouse on the screen now. Look at that. Fancy smancy. Hey, Bobby, stop. All right, skipping all this here. All right, so we talked about this lady who found this ancient, just by happenstance, found this ancient tablet. She wasn't sure what it was. She took it to some British, British historians. They said, this looks fake, get out of here. Well, turns out they were wrong. These ended up being called the Amarna letters, okay, which were letters written by Canaanites to the Egyptians, okay, and I'll get back to that here in 1 second. So these letters told us about the Hebrew conquest in Canaan. Okay, this is when when the Israelites were invading Canaan and all the cities there, which were then controlled by Egypt. They were writing letters to the Pharaoh saying, "Come help us, because all of our cities keep falling," right? And we mentioned that they know the Israelite God, because this is after Egypt, after the Exodus. So they know of the plagues, they know of parting of the Red Sea, which, by the way, I just watched a video on that. It seems like that there is a misinterpretation on that story. Just really quickly, in Hebrew, it never mentions the Red Sea. It mentions the Reed Sea. So it's probably not the actual Red Sea, but still a large body of water with a lot of reeds around there. Still very large, very deep, but in Hebrew it's called the Reeds or Sea of Reeds. But we translated it to Red Sea. If that matters to you, I don't know. But all right. And again, these letters here were like in a letter from Megiddo, right? Mentions that all these towns in the south were being destroyed by these Israelite invaders. Okay, there's Megiddo there. All right, this is Jericho. We mentioned why didn't we get letters from Jericho or Ai? Well, because they were the first ones destroyed, right? I'm gonna keep going here. All right, Canaan is actually a pretty prosperous place. They have lots of resources. Obviously, they have access to the coast. Right? Good for trading and fishing, things like that. We learned that they're obviously polytheistic. They have many gods. Their god El was their main god. His wife was Asherah, which is mentioned in the Old Testament. Okay, she's like they're both fertility gods. Okay, and then each city had their own. Now, this is pronounced Baal, not Baal, but I can say it either way. Okay, they each had their own Baal or their own god for each city, and as long as they made their god happy, they in turn made God El happy, which in turn was good for the land, right? So they pleased their gods so they could have prosperous land and resources, things like that. All right, so here's what I want to get to real quick. So I saw this meme the other day, and I really want to see what you guys thought. If you had 30 minutes of lunch and you could pick any one of these tables to sit in, who would you want to sit with for 30 minutes and have lunch with? There's Noah, Moses and Aaron, Mary, Joseph, David, Abraham, the disciples, Paul and Timothy, Elijah and Elisha, Peter, or Adam and Eve. Who would you want to have lunch with? Yeah, Missy. What? Okay. 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 Yeah, and that's it. Right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Anybody else? Who would you eat lunch with for 30 minutes? Yeah, Brent. Moses, why? That was Noah, not Moses. Moses, okay? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anybody else? So someone here was saying Moses too, right? Who was saying Moses? Why Moses, Carter? Okay, yeah. I would love to ask him about that burning bush, right? That'd be pretty incredible, right? Or how scared were you when you accidentally killed that Egyptian and you ran away, right? You know that he was 40 when that happened? He was 40. Now, it's a great movie, Prince of Egypt. I love that movie. Obviously, it's not accurate because he wasn't a kid. He was 40 when that happened, right? Older than me. Sorry, guys. He was older than me. Sorry, Missy. Anybody else? Peter. Why, Don? Why Peter? Peter and Timothy, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I was Paul and Timothy. You said Peter. Yeah. And you could say, I loved your work in The Chosen, right? Right. You were great. Anybody else? We'll go one or two more. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, good. My mom. Go ahead, Ron. Right. Mine would be Noah. That's always been one of my favorite stories. I would just love to, because obviously the biggest event was Jesus dying and his resurrection. Those are the biggest events. But the flood, oh my goodness, literally physically changed the world, right? What an amazing story that was, and what did it smell like, right? Like, what did you guys do on that boat, Ugh. But still, I think Noah. I think Noah. But I mean, any of those guys up there, any of those people would be an amazing person to talk to. My mom said Elisha and Elijah, like, you guys literally went to heaven, right? Just from earth. What was that like, right? That was my mom's choice. All right. So we had this. I wanted you guys to look at Deuteronomy. Now, Kay asked me on Wednesday what verse it was, and she's not here. She's not even here. She is here? Oh, she's walking around. Okay. Maybe she can hear me. Anyways, so this is one of our questions here. said, when God sent the Israelites into Canaan to take over the land, he gave them very specific instructions. Read these instructions in Deuteronomy 6, 10 through 15. Okay, so let's turn there. Deuteronomy 6, 10 through 15. And what do you learn about the nature of God and the fragility of humankind from these instructions? Frailty. I'm sorry, it says frailty. All right, so if someone could read that. Deuteronomy 6, 10 through 15. All right, so what are their instructions? Sorry, that didn't fit on when they show the slides here, it changes it for some reason. I don't know. All that fit on the slide when I was looking at it this morning. So what are their instructions here? Don't forget what I did for you, right? Okay. Now, do you think this is just a side question, but here, do you think a lot of the people who entered the Canaan were the ones also in captivity? You don't think any young ones? I mean, they only wandered for 40 years, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So what else? They cannot forget what the Lord did for them, right? Don't worship other gods. Okay? What else? Fear the Lord, right? All right, so what do you learn about the nature of God and the frailty of humankind from these instructions? We forget. Trust me, Danielle tells me a lot that I forget. I do. Anything else? Easily swayed. That looks fun. I want to do that, right? Where does that come from, I wonder? Is that nowadays too? That looks fun. Yes? It says up there, right, after verse 10, right? You're entering this land, right? A land with large, flourishing cities you did not build. So we know this is a good land already, right? Canaan's already a good place to live. Lots of resources, right? Houses filled with all kinds of good things that you did not provide, right? And you did not wells you didn't dig, so there's obviously good water sources there. And vineyards and olive groves you did not plant, right? And then when you eat, and are satisfied. So there you go, right? I'm content, right? So they tend to forget, right? Which, I mean, we still do, right? All right. So the Canaanites were very devoted to their gods, okay? Likely because Canaan was very rich land and the people greatly prospered from it, right? They directly attributed this prosperity to their gods, right? If you keep worshiping them, honoring them, giving sacrifices to them, this is why the land has lots of water, lots of resources, lots of good farmland, things like that, okay? So they must remain loyal to them. So here are some of the practices here. They had stone or brick altars, okay? And then they practiced fertility rites under trees. Go ahead. Someone go to Jeremiah 3:6. And after this, we are going to watch a short video. Go ahead. You got it? Go ahead. There you go, right? Because remember, these were fertility gods, right? El and Asherah, they're fertility gods. So why not do that practice under these trees, right? Now, sacrifices, right, was a big one here, okay? Let's read this thing from, come on now, click. Here we go. So this is from Stuart McAllister. He's a British archaeologist, okay? He was in this area, and he said he found this at one of his digs. He said this cemetery of infants deposited in large jars can, when carefully explored, produce such positive evidence that the conclusion was reported at once. That we have here to deal with infant sacrifices is, I think, so self-evident that it may be assumed without argument. Let's watch this quick video here, see if it works. I gotta make it bigger, so. Come on. Is he still back there? Bobby, are you still back there?
Bobby is not back there.
Can you play that? Phil, Mr. Yao, can you please play that?
Did you not hear the word inexperienced?
No, I didn't. Just click on it.
I am clicking and it is telling me I'm inexperienced.
There's usually a play button and stuff. If I just click on it, it would play. If you have to like exit the, it should play. What'd you do? This is very unconventional. Don't unplug anything. Yes, I do. Jesus loves me. All right, maybe I'll just pull up my laptop. I'll keep going from there. Mr. IT guy back there ruined my stuff. Just exit the PowerPoint. You hit the exit button. Escape. You did. Okay. Well, I'll just continue from here. Chapter 3. Yep. It's still blank. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, I just should have just skipped the video. Don't search it up. Just put the slides back up. I won't worry about it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Are you sure that doesn't? I mean, that's just sad because it worked for me. Anyways, all right. So the video just showed more of this play. It was an Amorite worship site. Okay, and they showed the altars. They showed all that. They didn't show anything obviously because everything is gone now. But it also showed evidence of like infant remains around the altars and stuff like that, even just like child bones around these altars and stuff like that, to prove that they did sacrifice children to their gods here. And did you unplug my clicker thing? Okay, there we go. All right, I got it now. I got it. I got it. Maybe. There it is. Go back. All right, so obviously they had temples, okay? They had lots of religious art, lion and serpents here, coins here that are some of their religious coins here. And they practiced this with their families, right? So let's go to Jeremiah 7:18. Jeremiah 7:18. Come on now. My anger. Right, yeah. All right, you can stop there. So yeah, this is a family practice, right? Everyone is involved in these types of rituals, right? And so let's go to here. I forget what what book this was. Maybe it is Jeremiah still. No, I forget what book this is from here, but God warns the Israelites here, right? It says, "You must not worship the Lord your God in their way, because in worshiping their gods, they do all kinds of detestable things the Lord hates. But they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire as sacrifices to their gods." So very, very brutal ways that they are sacrificed. Now, this didn't just happen here, right? We've heard about this stuff happening also in Mesoamerica, right? With like the Aztecs, Inca, and the Mayans, right? All that stuff, right? All right, let's keep going here. So, what were the Israelites ordered to do when entering Canaanite religious sites? Got 2 verses here. You can pick one. Exodus 23:23 or Exodus 34:13. When someone has Exodus 23:23, they can go ahead and start. Sorry, and 24, sorry.
You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do according to their works. You shall utterly overthrow them and completely break down their sacred buildings.
So, in other words, what are they ordered to do? Destroy them. Let's go to Exodus 34:13. Someone can read that.
But rather you are to tear down their altars and smash their sacred pillars and cut down their Asherah.
Asherah poles, right? Which is that wife of God El, right? Did they do this completely? Did they completely wipe out these Canaanite religious sites? No. I think I have it in my history here. I forget where it was. Oh, it was in Judges. Let's go to this is not on my slides here. This is just something extra I did just this past weekend. Let's go to Judges 1. Judges 1:19. Pretty much through the end of the chapter here. Oh wait, that was coming up next, I think. You know what? We'll pause on that one because that comes up later, okay? So, did the Israelites follow God's commands? I got several verses here. Just pick one, look it up, and we'll read. We don't have to read all of them, but let's just read a few of them. We got Jeremiah 2:19. We have Jeremiah 7:24. Jeremiah guy seems pretty important. We've been going to him a lot here. We got Hosea 11:6-7, Isaiah 44:20, even in the Psalms and Proverbs here.
Jeremiah 2:19. Your own wickedness will correct you, and backsliding will confuse you. Know therefore and see that it is an evil and bitter thing that you have forsaken the Lord your God. And the fear of me is not in you, says the Lord God of hosts.
Okay, let's go to a different one. Which one you got, Mike? Okay. Okay, what else? Let's do maybe two more. Okay. Hosea 14:1, yes. Go ahead. And then Jesse will have our last one.
Return, Israel, for the Lord your God. Your sins have been your downfall.
Okay. Jesse, we'll do our last one here. Okay, so did they follow God's commands? Let's keep that in mind, right? All right, now, come on. Next slide, come on. There we go. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back, right? So God helped the Israelites enter the promised land, but not everything went well, right? You can read Joshua for all those details, okay? They failed to purge the Canaanite religion and began to cohabitate with the people and adopted their beliefs. Now we'll go back to Judges 1:19-36, okay? We don't have to read the whole thing, but when you skim through it, read a verse that would back that up. So Judges 1:19-36. I'll start with 19 here. It says that the Lord was with the men of Judah. They took possession of the hill country, but they were unable to drive the people from the plains because they had chariots fitted with iron. Okay? Yep. And even in 29 there, nor did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer, but the Canaanites continued to live there among them, right? So we even have, even the Bible says that they did not drive them out, right? They did not completely drive them out. Let's look at Judges 2:11-12. Baal. Well, it's fine. You can say Baal. I don't care. All right. So they're pulled into Canaanite rituals instead of serving God, right? So they fell into Canaanite political and religious structures, which was individual city-states, okay, autonomous cities there. They became loyal to the Baals in addition to Yahweh. So they still, believed in God, Yahweh, but they had all these other practices along with that. So obviously God is offended, right? And I found this funny meme. Like I pictured that. He's like, really? I told you not to do that. All right. So part of what made Canaanite, this just talks about how they did all these perverse practices, right? Child sacrifice, adulterous things under trees, things like that, right? Temple prostitution, both male and female, right? These were part of the Canaanite religious rituals. Okay, so it took centuries for these practices to be removed from the land, right? During King Josiah's time, which is about 621 BC, the land became so perverted with such worship that even the Temple Mount in Jerusalem contained vessels made for Baal and Asherah. Okay, Josiah had these removed, as well as houses of male cult prostitutes. So let's go to 2 Kings 23, 1 through 20. And we can have a good reader read that. That is not me. I stutter too much.
Then the king called together all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem. He went up to the temple of the Lord with the people of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the priests and the prophets, all the people from the least to the greatest. He read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant, which had been found in the temple of the Lord. The king stood by the pillar and renewed the covenant in the presence of the Lord, to follow the Lord
woo. He wanted to completely destroy all that stuff, right? He even killed the priests, right? So he definitely was doing what God had asked them to do, right? Completely, defile these sites, defile all these Canaanite religious figures, and just burn it, right? Burn it. And that was a really good way back then to really say this thing was. Let's say that was the best way to, like I said, defile something, was to burn it, right? We got a few more minutes here. All right, so we'll do this part here, and then we'll finish the next week. Okay, so did the Israelites' rebellion stop God's plans? Well, come on now. So let's go to Genesis 50:20 real quick. And then if someone else could go to Romans 8:28 through 29. So did the Israelites' rebellion stop God's plans? Okay? And someone could do Romans 8:28 through 29.
And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose, for whom he foreknew. He also predestined to become conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
So did this stop God's plan? In short, no, it did not. We'll stop right there and we'll pick it up from there next week.